8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
What's up, good people? Happy Friday. Thank God it's the weekend. We have a lot to discuss ahead of AEW Revolution. I haven't slept much, been following my socials. I had to do a red carpet last night, all the way, maybe an hour and a half away from home. So it's been a long night, but we got Hall of Fame to talk about, Pioneers, of course, everything Queen of the Ring movie, which is a stellar film you should see. But luckily, I am not alone. I have our PR prince in the building who actually did another red carpet on the other West Coast, on the other side of the country in the East Coast. So we'll be able to get her perspective on it as well. Courtney, how you doing?
Oh, you're not alone. Happy Friday. I just feel like it's been a long week between doing red carpets, speaking with PR students, getting ready for Revolution this weekend. It's been a very productive and busy week.
Productive and busy. That's the key. While it's been busy, it's at least been productive and at least very, very fruitful. We got some people joining us in the chat. What's up, Lewis? How you doing? Happy Friday. Polo Sky, how you doing? Happy Friday to you too. So let's just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off of what we got to discuss today. Of course, we're going to probably spend a lot of time on Revolution, but the big news out of today is our latest induction to the WWE Hall of Fame. And we actually just talked about this about a week ago. Very deserving in his own right. The Lex Express, Mr. Lex Luger, is finally inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2025. There's a beautiful moment that is captured when he finds out. And I think I alluded to this type of moment where I wanted to see the Hall of Fame go, where you have these kind of surprise pop-ups and visits where you just kind of pull up on somebody and say like, hey, like, well, what are you doing here? And it's like, well, I want to welcome you to the Hall of Fame. Kind of like how they do in NFL. Cody Rhodes let Lex Luger know that he's in the Hall of Fame. And perfect time for Lex with all the health progress he's been making and regaining his ability to walk. So this is going to be a full circle moment, and I'm glad he's finally getting it. Courtney, what are your thoughts?
It's so ironic because we were just talking about health Lex Luger walking again last week. It's so ironic. We were talking about the news and how he's progressing, and now he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. And it's very ironic because somebody posted that Michelle McCool and Lex Luger interviewed with Chris Van Vliet, and now they were announced in the Hall of Fame, which is really crazy. But I'm very happy that Lex Luger is getting his flowers for the impact he made in the wrestling ring, the impact that he's made throughout, and also the contributions, even though the health issues have declined, but he's starting to slowly progress. It's a feel-good feeling, and I'm happy that he is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's the perfect time we talked about callbacks and what this could possibly mean. And we know that WWE just announced that they've uploaded the WCW catalog to YouTube. So there's going to be so many fans that get to experience Lex Luger for the first time, from his popular run early 90s in WWF all the way to when he kind of was the guy in WCW. So him getting his flowers and recognition is just beautiful, way overdue. And I guess, who do you think inducts Lex Luger to the Hall of Fame this year?
This is going to be very tough because I don't know if they're going to have that forbidden door. I would love to see Sting induct him, but with the fact he's under the AEW Legends contract, it's like I don't know if they want to open that forbidden door. But I think with Sting, especially the friendship that they had over the years, that could be somebody. Possibly Ric Flair could be another one. And also another person that actually came to mind is actually the person that's been helping him with his health is DDP, since technically he's under contract with WWE. But I would love to see either mostly Sting or DDP induct him.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, Cody gave him the surprise. I'm pretty sure he's known Cody since he was a young boy. I can see something like that. But DDP would be my leader to induct him, just because he's probably spent the most time with him over these past few years, with just helping him along on this health journey. So Sting would be nice, and I think that'd be a nice I mean, I don't think Sting is technically he might be under AEW contract, but he's not a performer anymore. That would be dope.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure nobody has spent more time behind closed doors than Diamond Dallas Page these past few years,
Yep.
just helping him along this journey. So beautiful story all around.
Yes.
As we're starting to round out the Hall of Fame class, not only Lex Luger got announced this week, but Earthquake and Typhoon,
Ooh.
the natural disasters, which I don't think we talked about that on Wednesday. I think it just dropped yesterday, honestly, that they got announced on Hall of Fame class of 2025. Some of my favorites, throwback wrestlers. When you talk about big meaty men, those guys were that, and they put on some great matches in the early '90s version of WWF. Do you remember any of their work?
I don't remember any of their work, but I've actually read up upon them on why they made contributions because, like, you know how people always say, like, well, why are they worthy and all this? I was like, did you read? It may not be the biggest one, but they made a really much impact in the 90s. And also the tag team match, which I think there was some stuff I didn't even know about, but it's really nice that they are introducing people, especially for people who are not too familiar, and also the contribution and impact they made in the wrestling world.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's actually shaping up to be a very good Hall of Fame class. And now that, I mean, Vegas is going to be packed out
Oh yeah.
regardless, but just being able to see, I guess so much parity in the Hall of Fame is what's good. That's what's good. Seeing some differences in eras and different characters.
I think that's it too, and also possibly seeing the contributions they made, because technically they have made an impact. It may not be important to the outside, but us wrestling fans who probably know them for years and the impact that they made in the ring, but a lot of times people don't know what the impact that they made outside of the ring. That's always special as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, moving further, and since we know that we're going to be talking AEW Revolution here in Los Angeles to close the show, let's go ahead and hit you with our SmackDown preview, which we will, I believe we will have a watch along this evening with Wrestling with Honey. Are you taking over for her?
Yeah, because Honey, she has to deal things with a honey pot, so I'm taking over this week, tonight.
Got it. So our PR princess will be taking over the watch along for SmackDown tonight, where we will finally hear from Cody Rhodes after the shocking heel turn around the world with John Cena. We'll get his thoughts about that. We have a United States Women's Championship match between Gail Kim and, sorry, I said Gail Kim because I saw Gail Kim in Kendall's name, with Mia Yim and Chelsea Green. Shinsuke Nakamura and LA Knight in the United States Championship match on the men's side of things. Braun Strowman taking on Solo Sikoa, which I'm actually interested in this match because footage showed that Solo attacked Cody after the show on SmackDown last week, so that's still going on. Jimmy Uso taking on Drew McIntyre as well, and that rounds out what's happening on SmackDown. Also, I think that we're going to hear from Jade as well. I think I did see that Jade's going to appear on the show, and then Bianca actually did repost something this morning saying that she needs answers tonight. So we also hear from Jade.
Yeah, so the commercials, they did pop up on SmackDown that Jade will be there, and she will be explaining a lot. So we will be getting a lot of answers, and also Bianca, of course, is going to be there tonight. So I'm intrigued on how this interaction is going to go.
Okay, so is that the thing that you're looking forward to the most, is finding out more details in the Jade story, or do any of the matches stand out to you?
I would say outside of that, I'm very interested in, of course, Chelsea and Michin. I mean, with the Women's United States title, I know Chelsea's has held that for a while, and the match is going to be a street fight in Philadelphia. So that also is definitely going to be something. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of shenanigans in that match. I'm very also with Cody on what his reaction is going to be after what happened at Elimination Chamber. It was posted on socials after officials were helping Cody up. Cody was talking to Michael Cole saying, like, this is not him. I don't know what made him do this or all else, but I just want to hear Cody's thoughts on what he has to say.
Okay. Yeah, the match with Mia as well as Chelsea Green, something has to give here, because I don't know how many times Mia got in a title match, and she's been doing her best character work, not only on SmackDown, but on social media with so many callbacks from Vine and popular moments as well. If she doesn't win the title tonight, you have to wonder what gives. Like they've already ran Dakota and Bird Lady back, and Dakota didn't get the belt. But I mean, something has to give. And I get I understand the relevance of having a character like Chelsea Green carry the belt and kind of be like that nuisance of a heel that kind of just skates away. But how long are you gonna give her other challengers at some point? Because you keep doing this, and it doesn't seem like Yim is going away until she gets the belt. For Cody, I think we're gonna get a 15 to 20-minute segment with him crying, and I can care less. He's gonna cry about how he never saw this coming from John and how much respect he's had for John since a young child, and that he's so appalled and that he's let him down and all the fans. I don't care. You giving up the belt, bro. You giving up the belt. Shinsuke LA Knight, while I love me some Shinsuke, I don't think anybody wanted this. I don't think anybody wanted to see LA Knight get another shot. There's so many other challengers there. Like, why not Melo with the whole Melo don't Miz thing we're doing? Why not Andrade? I don't know. Maybe people in the chat will disagree with me. There's a little bit of LA Knight fatigue from me. And throwing him at Shinsuke consistently doesn't do anything for Shinsuke's title reign. And then, of course, with Strowman and Sikoa, we know we had the Jacob Fatu. I'm pretty sure there'll be some Jacob Fatu influence in this match as well. But there's a reason that Solo keeps randomly attacking Cody, and it's always at the end of a show. And it's not on the actual feed of the show either. So that lets me know that we might be running that back at some point, and Solo's not done with the title, and how whatever we're doing with this Bloodline saga, while everybody might feel separate at the moment, it might come right back together really quick again.
Yeah, especially with the road to Vegas, because pretty much it's already going forward here at Vegas. So I don't know what's going to happen with the Bloodline, and they have attacked Cody, but hopefully we get a lot of answers for SmackDown tonight.
Speaking of special attacks, and I hope this is PG, but we have a special guest joining us 2 times this week. Mr. Jacob DeLawrence is with us.
Speaking of special attacks, he says, that's the intro I get from a man who I did a podcast with for 2+ years, 300 episodes, damn near. That's what I get.
I think we got three.
I think we hit 3. I think we did hit 3. Which just proves that, again, we are the former longest reigning undisputed podcast tag team champions. That simply put, nobody can outwork us. We put a whole network on our back.
Quite literally.
It ain't get shit for it. But now they all of a sudden want to do wrestling content and be high and get wrestlers on there. But anyways, enough of my soapbox. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to be a better person these days.
There's still some bitter feelings. I don't blame you.
Bitter feelings, facts, whatever you want to call it. All I know is you just got to believe.
Okay.
No Joe Hendry.
I'm going to try to transition that best I could, because you can go on LinkedIn and research whatever you want to get the details on that. Jacob, what about SmackDown intrigues you tonight?
Nothing.
Really?
Which is really, because you would think I'd be intrigued considering we're coming off of what Elimination Chamber was. We should maybe get something out of Jade, Bianca, and Naomi, some combination of those three. But like you said, Cody, we're going to get the long, drawn-out Cody promo in the ring. If I was Trips and Cody, I'd have Cody come through the crowd. I'd have Cody, no suit jacket, very unbuttoned up, and be like, look, I ain't sell my soul because these people are my soul. I'm the people's champ, all this. And be like, hey, Cena, Rock, when I see you, it's on site, drop the mic and walk your ass off. We can do this shit in 5 minutes. I don't need the long, drawn-out Cody promo with somebody interrupting him. I don't care. And then Shin and LA Knight. You missed the ball on LA Knight. Why are we running this back again unless LA Knight's going to snap and turn heel? That ain't happening. There's a million other people that not could have win at. So cool. And Chelsea Green is running the Edge and Christian spot as a champion right now. She ain't coming off that belt. It makes no sense to take either mid-card title off of one of those women until May, Saturday night's main event that just got announced. Maybe you push it to Evolution that's rumored for July. Like, let's establish and put some credence behind these belts. Let's get a good lengthy little run in, and let's get some different challengers. Let Meechin take an L and let B-Fab step up and let B-Fab get squashed. Also, you got Alba Fire now because you let go Isla Dawn, which is a horrible decision if you ask me. But you got Alba Fire now. Turn her back to Kaylee Ray and let her cook as a single star. But yeah, on paper, nothing excites me about SmackDown. I'm sure I'll find something that's enjoyable in the 3 hours of it.
Honestly, since we're doing the Ivy Nile stuff on Raw now, and if they're not really going to give Ivy a fair shake to take that belt off Bird Lady, Alba is very logical. And I wish Flobo was here, but I wish maybe Bozo, you can let me know how many times has Kaylee Ray crossed paths with Lyra Valkyria in NXT UK?
A few.
A few?
I want to say it was a few toward the end before they shipped Kaylee all the way fully over.
Okay. Because I know Kaylee held the belt for a long time, and I don't think Lyra was with the company at that point. During the early phases of that. But that would be fun. You want that hard-hitting action. You want that to be the workhorse title for the women's mid-card. That's the way to go. But Jacob, you teed us up where we were going next. And it's been rumored that there are tentative plans to have a second Evolution PLE this summer. And my question to both of you is, if this takes place, because this tentative plans could change, what matches? I'm not thinking about belts right now, but I'm thinking more box office. Who is on this card that makes it become a standalone show again, something that we can do year over year? It can be celebrity. It can be legend.
I don't see why not. I mean, Trish Stratus is doing her 25-year anniversary. I don't see why not. She can't contribute to this since technically she's on a tour. I would include Trish.
Yeah, that ain't moving the needle. No offense to Trish, but like, she's here now. Like, she's here. She says she's going to be putting in work throughout the year, so she's here now. That's not going to move the needle. Can't believe this is about to come out of my mouth. I'm going to get the good thing out. No, I'm going to say the horrible thing first that I really can't believe I'm going to admit to, but might want to call up one of them Garcia twins. Might want to call up the Bellas and see if you can get some marquee match, have the Bellas challenge for one of those women's world titles or maybe one of the mid-card belts. But I think you got to call the Bellas. You got to go back into the past, see if you can get a Cyndi Lauper, get some big names, some heavy hitters, kind of make this full circle. And here's the real one that if you really want to make a statement, AJ Lee versus one of her children.
Yeah, so right now it's tentative for July 5th at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. Pretty sure we'll get more. But yeah, I think you'll have to, if anything, you want to make it a little bit different from the first Evolution PLE. So it could be kind of like a past versus present type of thing and throw in a little sprinkle of the future. I think you will. Well, no, I don't think you will. But you should have some type of NXT presence on this match, on this card. Like if you can find a way to utilize Julia or Stephanie Varcour just for their star power, I think that would be great. I think if you did utilize, this is probably the best spot to highlight the women's tag team titles, by the way. And if they really want to go hard, they should do it like do a ladder match. Throw 4, maybe 5 teams in there in the ladder match.
Do you have 5 teams?
Yeah. Now?
Judgment Day, Metaphor, the Rave girls, when one of them gets healthy.
And like you said, you can throw in the Bella twins. If they did come back, that would be like your headlight.
Well, you only getting one of the two, dog.
You never know. We never know. We don't know yet. But then you also have like Zarya and Sol Ruka, who are a team right now. And there's other teams that can kind of form as we get there. But there's definitely teams you can fill in a match like that. That would be great. And now you have the 2 mid-card titles as well.
Boza makes a great point, and I was going to bring that up. If you do a Women's Evolution 2 or another one, this cannot be a 4 or 5 match card. You better put every last women's title in that company on the line, and possibly one grudge match that has nothing to do with a belt. Make it like a number 1 contenders battle royal or something. Put some stakes to it. Fully showcase, because you have the women's world title, the IC title, WWE Women's Champion, US title, tag titles, North American title, NXT title. That is 7 titles. Throw one more match in there, make it a battle royal. That's 8. This is the one time you might want to pull a playbook from the fake TK and just say, screw it. You know what? We going 4 hours anyway. We might well throw some matches in here. Get everybody on the card. Let's showcase a diverse roster full of women. And let's tell some stories and have some fun.
You could. And it really shouldn't stop there. I mean, I think I think it will hit. And I don't know which of our counterparts lives near Connecticut, but we got to try to be in the building that weekend when it happens in the summer. But
East Coast.
I think we're getting close enough to where we can start doing a weekly all women's card. And you might be able to dabble with that on main event and just highlight it as like ladies' night. I wonder if I would love to hear if those conversations are happening behind closed doors.
Just do a Saturday show. Tape it. Drop it Saturday on the YouTube or on something. Find somebody to give you a little bit of bag of money for a Saturday morning women's show.
These comments are crazy. If they're going with Jay versus Naomi, let them continue for Evolution. I want 12 matches in 1 hour.
12?
Make it 8 to 9 match card.
Straight squash matches.
Artem, special guest timekeeper. I can let y'all know right now. I maybe I'm in the minority on this. I don't think Naomi coming back looking for no revenge.
I mean, you just got dog walk like that on national TV. You might have to see me. I might have to Rikishi you and catch you in the parking lot. And you know, I did it for the bloodline. I did it for Bianca. But I ain't going out. You ain't gonna whoop my ass like that.
We've seen it. I think we've seen the humble walk away ass whoopings in wrestling before. Like
not like that. Dog, she pulled up, made a straight beeline, whooped your ass while your whole girl screaming her life off. Yes, Naomi ain't get no lick off, no nothing, no defense. It was just straight dog walk.
It was pretty much she brutalized her.
And then she just walked out like, all right, we done. Like, I don't even want to step in the chamber. I just came here to whoop your ass. I put this nice new outfit on, showing off all my goods, and I just came here just to whoop your ass. I'm going home now. I'm going back to Florida.
I honestly, Dylan is ahead of the curve on this because that's what I would do. Like the way Jade had the baddies in AEW, you could really do that, and that would allow Metaphor to further separate themselves from Noam Dar and Oral Mensa, because it seems like they're not a faction anymore.
Noam's hurt, right?
I don't know how hurt.
Or
he'll be backstage.
Yeah, I think Noam's hurt.
But there's like no reference of them anymore. Like,
I mean, if you out for a while, what I'm gonna bring you up for?
They're a faction, literally.
Hey, no, you at home with your knees propped up.
We gotta do this for the fellas that's still nursing their injuries back home. Like, there could be something small. It doesn't have to be like elaborate.
Yeah, we kept the name. Be happy. We kept the name.
Speaking of keeping things in check. Triple H, our headliner for the Hall of Fame this year, has made a very interesting quote this week. He says, "Day by day, event by event, we are going to take over the world." He said when speaking in a press conference for the Elimination Chamber post show, "I've said it a million times, our competition is not other forms of sports entertainment. It is everything in the world. Sports, movies, whatever form of live entertainment that's out there, we're going to go out and try to surpass it. And we believe that we will. I believe this is the greatest form of entertainment in the world, bar none. That's why I do what I do. I love it beyond anything else. When we do it well, it is beyond anything else. Wherever we've got to go, whatever we do, and the path will show it for itself what we have to do to get there. But day by day, week by week, year by year, event by event, we're going to take over the world." I love the confidence here, and rightfully so. But the problem with quotes like that is this landscape of pro wrestling now, it's very diverse. And there's more games than one in town. Do we see this as is it a threat? Like, is it like, hey, we're going to go over and just monopolize everything, so you going to have to come to us type of thing? Or, because he said it's not just professional wrestling, it's all forms of entertainment. How did you guys view that entire quote?
Courtney?
Well, that is something of confidence, and I think he wants WWE to take over the world because also they're under the TKO umbrella with UFC, so having that crossover onto mainstream, that's a little bit, but I wouldn't say it as a threat. It's kind of a challenge because, well, with professional wrestling growing as it is, you do have AEW, you do have TNA, you do have New Japan, and you have many other wrestling companies out there. So, I mean, he does say a lot of things, and he does see everything as competition, and also he likes a challenge and not afraid to do it. So, pretty much WWE is trying to find ways to, how can they innovate themselves? How can they apply to the next level? What else can they do on not just their shows, but also their PLEs? And then you also have NXT having one of the top women's rosters. That's also another level as well. So he's kind of throwing out the gauntlet and challenge. And I actually like he's putting the challenge out.
How do you feel about it, Jacob? You think it's do you think we'll get to that point in time again where it's WWE and no one else?
No, because the other person running the other company is a billionaire with a B and a multi-billionaire. So unless he just gets tired of wrestling, I don't see him walking away anytime soon. But my first thought when I read this quote was straight Pinky in the brain, like Hunter saying this to Sean.
Mine too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, so what are we going to do? Sean be like, so what are we going to do today, Hunter? Same thing we do every day, Sean. But I mean, I see where he's coming from. I get the point. Like, yeah, you want to be entertainment. You want to dominate that space. You're doing it. And I think people are getting it twisted when he say, we want to take over the world. People are expecting him to go plant a WWE flag everywhere. But I think he's taking over the world like Disney is taking over entertainment. You have Star Wars. You have Marvel. They're all under the Disney umbrella. WWE is doing work with Noah. We're doing work here. We're doing work there. Got NWA. We're slowly just creeping through, taking a little bit of real estate here, a little real estate here. We'll run a couple of live events here, see if we can get the local company here. That's how I see Trips' plan. I'm like, oh, we're going to take over the world. We're just not going to do it in a way that you expect us to do, where it's going to be WWE, this, that. No, it'll be Pro Wrestling Noah with a whole bunch of money underneath the table so we can really give them some run to challenge New Japan. Or, oh, Stardom, you don't like the AEW deal? Come holler at us. Here's some more money. Let's challenge it this way.
And with the entertainment aspect, you mentioned Disney. It makes me think about all these different types of how much exposure the performers will actually get. I remember a quote when we'll talk about Queen in the Ring later. Naomi was talking about being in the film and how she feels like wrestlers are actors in a sense, because a lot of what they do is improv. So the acting transition for them is usually rather easy. So how many doors could this open up for these performers that perform combat to do acting roles in movies and things like that? When you have the TKO partnership, you have Endeavor. I mean, hell, under the TKO Endeavor umbrella, they just announced a new boxing promotion this week, which means now not only at UFC events, but eventually at boxing events, you'll probably see these WWE performers ringside and on camera. So it's going to allow different types of promoters, directors, and say like, hey, I like this person's look. I like to have them audition for a film. It can really spiral into something very big, and also help a lot of these performers profit more off their name and likeness. I think that's what's going to be most interesting. Next, we are so we alluded to AEW a little bit, and we know that there's now a partnership with Prime Video. In this partnership, I believe, Courtney, you could probably speak to this best. Revolution will be able to be shown on Amazon Prime, or is that too early?
It's going to be shown on Amazon Prime starting this weekend.
Yeah, so the new distribution agreement will allow, I believe, pay-per-views to be shown. I believe they'll be able to be recapped as well. And this is actually a big deal. Prime's a big get. Prime having partnership with the NFL. I worked at the NFL. We can see how that has worked for them. Do you see this being something that will help to garner more eyes? Because Prime is pretty much the instant gratification for everything these days. Courtney, I'll start with you.
When I first read the news on Amazon Prime, and as somebody that is subscribed to Amazon Prime, I was actually very excited, but I also had to read on a lot of this, because are they going to do the same way they do Thursday Night Football? If I'm a paid subscriber, is that going to be included? Because when I was searching through it, it also said I still had to pay $49.99, even though I'm a paid subscriber. So that's something I'm happy it's Amazon Prime, but at the same time, I just think it could have been executed a little bit better, because it's like, why should I have to pay $50 more? Or they could have at least done a special deal for some people that have subscriptions already for Amazon Prime. The same way Netflix, you can get WWE Raw for the same price. And also, if you have Max, you can also get AEW programming as well with the package. So it should happen. And both, I do agree, the pay-per-view should have been part of Max, but we shall see how this goes. I mean, I'm curious to see how it is, but I would love for it to be included in the package, but we'll see how this goes in the next couple months, because I believe all the pay-per-views are going to be on Prime Video, including All In. So I'm very intrigued on how this is going to go, and hopefully they can make a little bit of adjustments and include it in the Prime Video package for all the paid subscribers.
Interesting. So that is an interesting wrinkle right there. I know it's going to have all pay-per-views going forward, and they've had a few different pay-per-view deals over time. This should definitely boost more exposure for them. But with the ticket, how do you think people will respond to that, Jacob?
So I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad Courtney said what she said. When I first saw this, I was like, oh yeah, y'all are finna have to pay for this separate. Like, because let's think about this. Warner's Brother Discovery is the backer of AEW. If I gotta pay whatever it's gonna be when AEW finally gets their pay-per-views on Max, if I gotta pay that fee to watch it live, you think Warner Brothers is gonna let you go take your product that we pay you for elsewhere for free? And also, Prime does this. This is more so an access thing for AEW. Like, hey, not everybody knows about Triller TV. Not everybody knows about, Triller is now Fight TV. Not everybody knows about all these other ways you can go watch an AEW pay-per-view. Less people have traditional cable. The Max thing isn't set up yet. About 9 out of 10 people have Amazon Prime. So here's another way in. And Prime did this with boxing, where you would have a high marquee boxing fight. You have a card and you go watch it, and it might be like $10 off because you're a Prime member. But it's nothing new. You go check that boxing. Okay, cool. I got to pay $49.99 for a Canelo fight. Cool. Whatever. So it's access. This is just giving AEW more access, more households, trying to improve their stock. And yeah.
Yeah, more access is key here because this really reminds me of like my upbringing when PLEs per views were like $50 and you have to call your cable company, order them, and if you smart, you throw a blank VHS in there and you just capture the moment.
Yep.
But they're going with that business model because if you do look at Prime Video, even for their movies, like you can't just go on there and watch movies. You have to either buy the movie or rent the movie. So for the pay-per-views, it's the exact same thing, but it does open the door, like Jacob said, to a greater audience of people who can actually say, hey, I've maybe never heard of AEW. What is this company? And now they're looking at the pay-per-view just because they have access to Prime. So hopefully it works out. And sticking with AEW news, there are people backstage in AEW that are trying to lift their voices. I don't mean that in any pun. To bring a certain artist backstage.
Get out.
There are people that are growingly trying to bring Kendrick Lamar to AEW. I think we've seen this in times before. I think there was mention of trying to bring Meg the Stallion to AEW. So this is the latest artist that they're trying to bring to the brand. I don't know how you feel about this, Courtney, because I know we did this not with artists, but I remember that time where we had American Top Team and all the MMA fighters there, and they're trying to do this crossover that felt very much like the No Limit Soldiers in WCW back in the day. But I don't know.
Was not that bad.
I don't know what Kendrick would do for AEW. It would obviously give them a lift because you can't go anywhere without listening to Kendrick. But do you think that they will pull this off?
They better execute it properly, and they damn better give him something of an important role in there. That's all I have to say. They better give him something, especially with whatever price you're going to have to give. And I don't even know how that would look. I love Kendrick. I would not be surprised if it's AEW, but Boss Man Tony better pull off some strings and better execute it properly and not let it be a bust.
Just for clarity on this story, this started off as a joke just because in Elimination Chamber in Toronto last week, we know Drake was there. To my knowledge, he wasn't featured on programming in a formal capacity. Maybe he declined it. So since AEW Revolution is in Los Angeles at the crypto.com arena, people are saying Kendrick should show up. If I'm being completely honest with you, I don't think the hardcore base of AEW fans listen to or know who Kendrick Lamar is. But I could be wrong. Jacob, your thoughts?
Kenny don't come outside. That's the other thing. Like, Kendrick doesn't come outside. So it's not even about the money. Because you got to look at it from the standpoint of what does he have to gain from an artistic point? And, I mean, a few more memes, a couple more moments, maybe take another victory lap and dance on Drake's grave, but is it worth it? He's also in the middle of getting ready for tour. I don't see it, but, I do know this, though. If he gets us another false accusations, then it'll work. But also, who else can you pair him with? What, Swerve?
That's
either Swerve, Swerve or the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that would be a huge get coming off the Super Bowl. You can leverage that. But again, like you said, Kendrick don't really make appearances or come outside like that. So how does it fit? And I don't think he's somebody that would be, oh, you're giving me X amount of money just to do an appearance type of person either.
Exactly. So, and again, it's got to make sense. And if you put Kendrick
from that point,
Swerve,
it has to become a relationship thing. Like, who does he have a relationship with in AEW on the roster to even?
And if you put Kenny with Swerve, then it kind of typecasts Swerve as you're the rap guy. You're the rapper guy. So,
Courtney, you had some other thoughts?
Because I kept thinking about this too, because I was like, well, West Side Gun was with Swerve, and then you had Flash there, but I don't know. Kendrick,
you had Blue Kid.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, as Jacob mentioned, Kendrick's a private person. He doesn't say much. So, and also, it would be interesting if he's a big wrestling fan. That would be something I would not even know if he said that.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I wouldn't bet my money on it that it would happen. But even like associating your name with Kendrick Lamar can only boost some type of talking points and notoriety for the brand. So whoever started the rumor, whoever planted the flag backstage in the locker room as a joke, it's obviously doing the rounds and making buzz just because this is the hometown, LA County, of that gentleman. So we'll see. The biggest thing to come out this week, I guess, for this brand Women's Wrestling Talk, the Queen of the Ring movie. And I actually got to see this movie last night. It's a great movie, the story of Mildred Burke, who at a time when wrestling was not legal for women in this country, trailblazed a way to make not only a name for herself, but to bring other women along the journey. She is the first millionaire women's wrestler in history. And honestly, seeing this film, not knowing much about it going in, and just learning about her journey, the paths, not just with wrestling, but literally dealing with the sexism in America and the abuse from men in the industry is huge, what she is able to accomplish. And not only that, bringing women of color into the sport as well and doing right by them. I thought it was a beautiful story. I don't think you necessarily need to be a wrestling fan to enjoy this film. And I think it tells a powerful story of what that time was like, just for women in general, but also what this sport was like then. Courtney, I know you saw it as well, but what did you think of the portrayal of Mildred Burke?
I will say when I first saw this movie, I heard a little bit about her, but watching the movie, it really gave a perspective of women's wrestling at that time, because you had to think it was like the 30s and 40s where women's wrestling was illegal. And Mildred Burke just kept going regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the hurdle, regardless of the sexism, misogyny, and even some of the slurs she had to face. And all while doing it when she's a single mother. That's also an added bonus right there, because she, even though she did pair off with Billy Wolf, she mentioned that she didn't needed a man to help her. And she did have to prove that, along with bringing in women of color, especially during that period where you had like right before the civil rights movement, when the Jim Crow laws were happening. So it's a very important film to really discuss, and also paving the way for women's wrestlers into this generation. And this was really a good movie. I do have to give props to Francesca Eastwood, who is also the daughter of Clint Eastwood, who actually did play Mae Young in the movie. And she really did give a solid role. And also the person that played Mildred Burke's son, because he actually saw his mom and he was very, very proud of her. So I recommend anybody watching this film. You don't need to be a wrestling fan. This is a film I would recommend watching this weekend, and especially since this is Women's History Month.
Jacob, have you been able to see the movie or any trailers or anything about the cast you want to share?
No, I've just seen a couple trailers. I looked at the cast. It looks good, judging by both of y'all's way y'all have talked about it. Seems like it's worth the watch. And why not? It's a great story. It's a very interesting story for those that don't know, like Courtney outlined it. It's very, very vital to the success of African Americans in wrestling, not just women or men, but what she did. Great story, well worth it. Naomi plays a good role in it. So yeah, I'll see it. I have one little comment. Can we now bring back the Mae Young Classic and rename it? Like, can we give it the Mildred Burke Classic? Can we Trips? Let me see if my line is still tapped.
The line you tapped for sure. Yeah, I mean, I have no bad words to say about the movie. And then the cast, like Emily Brett Rickards played that role. She acted her ass off, because
Yes,
I got to meet her last night. I got to meet Gavin, who plays the son of Mildred Burke in the movie. Really cool guy. It's a powerful movie. And I'm saying that as somebody who likes movies, that's not a film I normally would go out of my way to see. And I was pleasantly surprised with how the story was told, and it kind of brought you in and brought you into that era, but also it made you feel the struggle. Like it really made you emote and feel what they were going through, just from her being a single mother. Camille was in the movie. Camille acted her ass off as June Byers.
Yes, she did.
It's great.
And that
It's
was her
great.
first acting. That was her first acting role, Camille.
It was awesome, awesome all around. And then, of course, we do have some content from y'all from the red carpet. We were there ourselves in the New York area as well as in LA at last night, TK and I, and we got some interviews coming. A lot of great interviews, as you see. Our WWT ladies with West Side Gun up top. I got to meet Mariah May, Soraya, TK interviewing the Garcia twins, Courtney interviewing Julia Hart. I also got to interview the Hurt Syndicate, Kayla Becker, Swerve. There's a lot of great stuff that we have in store for you guys. Great conversations, a lot of very ethical answers when talking about how important this film is and what it meant for women, not only back then, but today, and what people can take from it. I think without spoiling the content I'm going to release, I think the most beautiful answers I heard came from Swerve and MVP.
Yeah.
About how important this is for women's wrestling. What was your takeaway from your time on the carpet, Courtney?
I will say, from a person that is usually working the checking on the red carpet, it was a little different for me working in the PR and media industry, because I'm used to directing people. I'm not used to working and interviewing people. So it was nice, very versatile for me, because as I mentioned, I got to interview Julia Hart, Deonna Purrazzo, Jazz. I got to meet Prince Nana and I chatted with him for a bit. I also had the chance to chat with Queen Aminata and Sky Blue. Athena, I had the chance to meet as well, and they were very, very proud of the movie. Honey also managed to get an interview with Team Bestie, Trish and Lita as well. It was really, really fun, and I got as I mentioned, I got the chance to talk with West Side Gun for a minute, and he was really, really cool about it. He's very excited about this film as well, and we chatted for a bit, but it was just really nice, and the atmosphere was very great. Just seeing some of the stars come out and being supportive of the film and having this opportunity as well. I definitely recommend checking it out. And I did see some of the clips that you saw in LA too. And it was very nice to see some stars come up as well. As you mentioned, Swerve was there, the Hurt Syndicate. I also did see Anthony Bowens was there last night. Yep. Along with, of course, my client Toni Storm was there too. But it was just definitely an experience all around. And there is more content to come in the coming days.
Yeah, my client, my ghost, Mercedes Monet was there. And I guess we're not on speaking terms right now because she swift me. We didn't exactly get to talk for the cameras, but
for the cameras.
But it was a beautiful time. We got a lot of great content. I met a lot of other great content creators in this space as well. I think that was the most beautiful thing, is how collaborative everything felt. And speaking, I'm going to read this comment first. Joseph says, Omer got to meet the little B-word, this is PG show, that caused a cat fight at the LA premiere. Courtney's client's hair was messed up. And without giving you too much information, you can actually go to a lot of people's X accounts, Twitter accounts, and see this stuff. This happened right in front of me. Not joking. Right moments after TK finished her interview with Toni Storm. And I actually got my reaction to the video. I have a video on my Twitter account says if you want to go check it out. Mariah May, who was just on the other end of the carpet, ran up and attacked Toni Storm. Just started wailing on her. And yelled at her and said, hey, this is my spotlight, and a bunch of other expletives where Toni could be seen, hey, she ruined my moment. She ruined my red carpet moment, that bitch, and all this other type of stuff. One thing I would tell you guys, this felt very organic because I thought people were just, not in character. Although Toni Storm did do her interview in complete character, which you'll see that on the website later on this week. But I thought it was funny.
I'm sorry. I just read Dylan's comment. I am completely sorry. I am completely sorry for interrupting you, sir.
Oh, I just read it. I'll get to that later.
You raggedy bitch. You raggedy bitch.
I just read that comment too. That's crazy. Nah, but like Tony did her interview in character, which was like out of it didn't seem like she was really, it seemed like she was still timeless on the carpet and not really in portraying her character as Clara Mortensen. And then Mariah May just ran up, which is crazy because when I interviewed Mariah May, I will say, you'll see this interview later on, she did mention that she was really only there to stir the pot. That this is her moment, that she didn't want that moment to happen for Toni Storm. And I said, oh, you the definition of on site. She said, yep. So what did you think about this? Because this actually brings a lot of different layers to Revolution this weekend. And this was actually the perfect time to do it. I'm not going to lie. Tony's carrying the belt. What did you see when you initially saw this hit the social media streets, Courtney?
Before I even get into that, I have to address something that happened on Dynamite. And I have to put on my shades for this because there's a lot to say. Mariah May, how dare you spit on my client's face on Dynamite, you wretched little bitch? And also with the fact you attacked her last night for not having her moment. Just because you want the spotlight to be on her. Lady, you entered into Tony's world. And you did it very, very perfectly throughout everything that's happened. But you're not going to have a Hollywood ending this Sunday because it's going to be a nightmare. Now, congratulations. You put on a spectacle and cinema. But I already know who's going to walk out as women's champion this weekend. So that's all I have to say.
Dylan, if you can clip just that section of Courtney saying wretched little bitch,
Please.
I promise you I will get miles off of that for the rest of this year. For anybody.
Oh, it's going to do numbers.
Let me get back to Dylan's comment. Mercedes did not want her streets pounded by said apparently swear. Allegations. I don't know where the clip is. But yeah, you know what clip I'm talking about. Allegations. I don't want to speak on that just because I don't know if that's really happening or not.
The FTR match. I saw accusations. These are not accusations. This is false accusation. And
Swerve's a good guy. I don't know what's going on in their personal lives, but Jacob, when you saw this actual moment hit the feeds, did this intrigue you more for Revolution and for this, I guess, this trilogy?
Kind of, sort of, not really. Like my height was already set where it was going to be, but what it did make me do was sit up and go, they just ran an angle, they being AEW, at an event where there were multiple WWE superstars there. I was just like,
I'm trying to think if there were. I don't think at the LA event, I don't think there were.
Nobody?
I'm trying to think.
So I know the New York event was half and half for what I saw, but I could have swore.
Yeah, it was pretty much half and half for New York because I think for WWE it was obviously Naomi in the movie. Jimmy Uso was there.
They were also in the Northeast running shows, so it made sense for part of the roster to be there. But I could have swore I saw, could be wrong, but that was my first thought. I was like, And then I was just like, okay. And then, like I sent the clip to the chat, I was like, I spy with my little eye the nice WWT microphone cover. Real TK's blonde locks, just all in the shot. And then there's the mayor right there. I was like, look at them. Look at them. Getting some Hollywood shine. But I have yet to see proper footage of the clip of like what actually happened. I just seen everything I've seen has been like the after effect because it looks like it genuinely caught everybody by surprise.
Yeah, we thought this was a classy event. Y'all up here scrapping. I was like, oh, what are we doing?
Who let you people in?
You thugs. You thugs.
Hoodlums.
But no, it was the red carpet was fun. I have no complaints. You'll see all the content later this week, or probably today. We're uploading as we speak. Just fun stuff. There's a lot more people there, not featured there, like I mentioned. I think we got interviews with Kayla Becker, some of the actors and actresses from the film as well. Johnny TV was there. He made me take a selfie with him. Well, I don't know where it went, but he told me to jump in the picture. So maybe you'll see that on the socials. But the last thing we want to get into before we get up out of here for the weekend and for SmackDown in another hour, AEW Revolution, Sunday, Los Angeles. We are going to break down the card, and we are at Dylan already hit me with that clip. Awesome. We are going to break down the card, and we are going to do some predictions. So first, we got the 0 hour. Johnny TV and Eminem Collection taking on Orange Cassidy, Big Boom, AJ, and Mark Briscoe. How do we feel this match is going to pan out?
I ain't gonna watch it, so
I'm only picking Orange Cassidy because he's with me. That's the only reason why I'm picking this match. That's why.
This is Big Boom AJ's
second match,
second foray in the ring with AEW.
Yep. First one was at Full Gear.
You know what? I know TK is going to be in the building. We'll see if she gets there early enough to check out this match. Just because my man put me in a selfie, I'm going to go with Johnny TV and Eminem Collection. So that's my pick for this match.
So real quick, have y'all seen the clip making its way around social this week where Eminem Collection introduced Johnny TV to Taya?
Oh yeah, I did see that clip.
What happened?
Everything about them, they're basically introducing like they didn't know, like, oh, Johnny, here's somebody you should meet. And then they proceed to make out, and those two are like, wait, what? Like, they are such cartoon villains. I love everything about them because there's no way this gimmick should have been able to work anywhere and be this good. So if I had to take a pick, you know what, I'm going to go Johnny TV and Company, even though we all know Big Boom is going to pose and AJ is going to do something stupid. And yeah, cool.
I think it's remarkable that these men have gained so much notoriety just from eating Costco snacks.
Costco.
Like legit.
Yep.
Made it super big off cookies and hot dog and such. Pizza's fire though. I'm not going to hit pizza. Pizza's fire. Next up, AEW International Kenny Omega taking on Konosuke Takeshita. Does Konosuke Takeshita drop the belt, Courtney?
I was going back and forth on this match a lot because Kenny actually brought up a point during Collision last weekend where Takeshita has beaten him twice. And this is going to be interesting, and especially with the history they have with each other. I do expect this match to definitely go back and forth. But if they really want to push All In Texas, and if they want to go for title versus title, and I can't see Kenny Omega losing in his first AEW pay-per-view match in a little over a year, I'm picking Kenny Omega to be the new AEW International Champion.
Jacob, does Kenny capture gold here?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just got some breaking news for football, but yeah. So, I could see Kenny winning, and like Courtney said, going title versus title. But if they do that, I feel like that becomes one of those title versus title where you consolidate, where it's a unification match, which AEW kind of needs to do. Too many titles as is now, but honestly, I think you got to let Takeshita get the win because Kenny and Ospreay got the win down in Australia. Let's keep Takeshita strong running this because also the Don Callis family kind of needs wins. No matter what iteration we're on, they need to get some wins, right? You see it, Mr. Welton. Very interesting. But yeah, I got to Kesha with a little help from Don.
Yeah, that's very interesting. What I just read has nothing to do with wrestling, but I don't really think Kenny needs a belt, and I feel like with Konosuke they're at least able to feature him as somewhat of a dominant champion. I think there's a build for Kenny heading into Texas, and I really just don't think it requires a belt for him right now. I think that would be a disservice to Takeshita. So I'm saying Takeshita retains. Let's see. I think Jacob has to step out for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, the former friend, steel cage match. Courtney, how do you see this match panning out?
It's so ironic we were talking about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. This is pretty much the fight that's never going to end. These guys are going to fight each other pretty much. And I feel like with these two, they definitely have a lot of chemistry. Also, the last time they met, Kyle Fletcher picked up a win. Will Ospreay has been hot the last couple weeks. And could you imagine the Achilles heel if he was 0-2 against a person he has been friends with for years? And that would be the ultimate Achilles heel for him. And also Don Callis would get a laugh out of this. So for this one, I am going to go with Kyle Fletcher to win this match.
This also might be a dark horse for match of the night. Jacob, what do you think about the outcome?
This is tough because what does Ospreay do if he loses? Where does he go from here? But at the same time, you kind of need to give Kyle Fletcher a win and let him get this decisively. And then just, all right, cool, put a bow on it. We can revisit this in 6-8 months if we need to. Let Fletcher get pushy. You know what? I'm going to undo my pick before. I know how this works. I see how this is going right now. Kenny finds a way to beat Takeshita. Kyle Fletcher beats Ospreay. Kyle calls out Kenny next. And then we get Kyle and Kenny at Double or Nothing. Kyle then takes the international title. I am a couple hours away from Jacksonville. I don't see any wires in here, but you know how it goes around here, Mr. Welton, when I start doing stuff like this. So that's how I see it. Give Kyle Fletcher the win, propel him. I would just ignore that comment. Yeah, we just put Kyle Fletcher on up the card and get him some gold in the form of getting the national title back from Kenny, and gives him something to hang over Takeshita as well.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm going to pick Fletcher as well. I mean, if the story, and Courtney, correct me if I'm wrong, if the story is really heading towards Ospreay, Omega, and Texas.
I think it's possibly going to be Omega versus Okada. They're teasing.
Okada. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to pick both guys to take L's this weekend. And if that's in a surprising way, I think that would be bigger shockers to me. Here we go. TBS Championship. My client, who I saw last night. Mercedes Moné taking on Momo Watanabe. I'm going to let you guys pick. This is much ado about nothing. My client's not dropping any belts anytime soon. That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler. I'm letting you know more belts are on the way. But Courtney, how do you think this match shakes out?
I can't believe I'm going to say this. I am actually picking Mercedes to win. I just can't see her losing as of right now. But somewhere down the line, I just don't see her losing at Revolution. But I'm picking Mercedes.
Jacob.
Oh, we getting a banger. I don't care who wins. You want some graps? You want some high-quality women's graps on a Sunday night? This going to give you some high-quality women graps on a Sunday night. Because Momo's going to put on a show and introduce herself to a whole new world. And Sasha going to have to step her game up. Like, she going to have to put on them wrestling boots. This ain't no Harley Cameron, with all due respect to Harley. You going to have to come put on them boots and put them graps on and remember, like, hey, you might be in LA, but you really just a short flight across the Pacific to Japan. So let's bring that New Japan work and let's go to work tonight because we finna have a 4-star banger. And if not, then somebody might be doing check fraud. The money might not be right in the light. Money might be looking a little funny in the light if we don't get 4 stars out of this. But Mercedes wins.
Yeah. And also just some note for Mercedes. She's now the longest reigning New Japan Strong Women's Champion in history, as today marks her 250th day as champion. It's also I think it's her longest reigning championship that she's had thus far. So that's why, to me, I don't think any belts are coming off soon. I think we have to get to a calendar year just because she's never had that dating back to her entire career. It'll be a big accolade for her. Next up, AEW Continental Championship, Brody King versus Kazuchika Okada. Courtney, who are we taking here?
This might be just me, but I kind of wish this match was on Dynasty. Because for me, I like wrestling, but I also like a good storyline with this. And I know there was a few times it was teasing this, but it could have been executed a little bit properly because I wish it was on Dynasty. But here we are at Revolution, and I understand this is the first pay-per-view of 2025, so they want to go all out on this. I would love to see Brody win it. Brody has definitely shown a lot as a singles person, but if I'm being realistic, I'm picking Okada to retain the title.
Okay. Jacob, does Okada retain?
Yes, Mr. Bitch retains. No further questions, Your Honor.
This is like I would want to see Brody King win a title. I don't really think Okada needs this belt anymore. He's kind of reinvented himself, if you would, in a sense, on AEW programming, and I think he can do other things.
Here's the problem. He loses that belt. What does he do?
We got to create something compelling, but I mean, doesn't have to, his whole character doesn't have to revolve around defending this belt.
But the point, he's the rainmaker. All he does is go after gold. If he drops his belt, there's one thing he can go after now. And he's kind of got to wait in line because we got something that we'll get to that sets up the next person. So you're kind of painted into a corner with a lot of these belts and matches.
This is a thought. But I mean, I just think about how many people get held up because he's stuck on this belt when he could be doing bigger things. So that's what I'll pull for. If any title changes on this card, I'll take Brody King. Just because I think we can do something else with Okada's storytelling and what we're doing as we're preparing for a big season of wrestling. They probably want to do something big with a big money guy. I don't know. I would think. I'm pretty sure he makes a lot of the payroll if I had to find their books.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Number one contenders match for the AEW World Championship, Swerve Strickland versus Ricochet. This has been one of the more fun rivalries on the card that has had a lot of bad blood. Who comes out on top?
That annoying Jadakiss laugh. Because it's got to be Rick O'Shea, because if Rick O'Shea does not win, what have we just done the past 3+ months for? You can heat Swerve up at any given moment and make him number one contender. Also, real quick, I'm going to use wrestling logic for a company that wants me to use wrestling logic and wants me to have wins and losses matter. How the hell we get to these two being number one contender, dog?
Courtney?
I wish I could tell you this because
Anybody?
I have nothing to say, but this was actually a fun rivalry. But if I'm gonna be realistic, I'm gonna pick Swerve Strickland to win.
I see the logic on both sides. both sides. Whereas Ricochet hasn't been a year he's been in AEW, I don't think, not yet.
Not quite.
But he started off up here, came down here, now he's back up. So you want to pay that off with this new character change. But also, one of your more popular AEW champions of recent memory has been Swerve Scott. So why not allow him to vie for himself being a two-time AEW World champion. This is actually a tough one. I'm gonna go with Swerve, just because I feel like the fake TK would lean more into what he knows than the unknown.
Explains why Moxley has like 5 runs.
Yeah, I think he knows what he gets with Swerve in a championship match capacity, as well as him being a champion. And I don't know if he is ready to pull that trigger on Ricochet against the current AEW World Champion.
So, real quick, let me just bolt this out real quick. Quick little idea. There's 1 or 2 ways I can see this going, and both have Ricochet winning. What if Ricochet wins, but Swerve snaps and beats the hell out of him and takes the roll back for Nana? Are we good with that? Because that's still a thing here. Like, Nana's like, look, dog, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really give a damn if you win. I kind of want my roll back because this is like 30 years of my legacy. You got to get me that back. I've done everything you've ever asked of me, and I've asked nothing. So there's that. Or Ricochet wins because Nana turns on him. Because Nana's like, look, man, I've done everything for you. I've protected you. And the one thing I'd held sacred to me, you could not protect or go and get back from me. And then now we set Swerve on a very similar path and trajectory of Hangman of like, let's go do some real deep self-discovery here. It feel like, you know what, maybe you lost yourself somewhere between winning the world title, losing it, having your bit with Hangman again. Just go rediscover who Swerve Strickland is.
It's possible.
It is possible.
We'll see. I mean,
Hire Me Fake
this
TK
is one of
available.
the more compelling stories that's happening. And then we have the AEW World Tag Team Championships being defended. The Hurt Syndicate taking out the Outrunners. And I think I saw the betting odds that has the Outrunners as favorites in this match. Courtney, what say you?
Really? Because I saw them being underdogs in this match. I saw them
I'm
being
talking about like betting odds. Sports betting.
Damn. Okay. Well, I will say the Outrunners have started to become a tag team because they need a strong baby face. I am happy for them. I think the one thing I wanted from them, and I said this on my watch along, is getting those signature wins. I do see the Hurt Syndicate retaining this. I just can't see them losing anytime soon. And this is really going to help the Outrunners kind of build up as a serious tag team in that division. But also, I kind of made a prediction that there's going to be a tag team in the division that may turn heel. And that was something that I think of, and I think it's FTR. Because when I thought about it, they're with the Outrunners. The Outrunners have a tag team title shot. And FTR lost to Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly at Collision. So that's also possible. But I am picking the Hurt Syndicate to retain.
Okay, Jacob.
A couple quick notes here before we actually get into the match. Those hats look incredibly stupid. I'm sorry. Just had to get that off my chest. Especially the shit-eating grin on Shelton's face with that hat. Just it's not just come on, really, guys? Really? But anyways, the Outrunners are great. I love the Outrunners. They're that throwback that like this gimmick should not work if we're being honest. It is so cheesy, so over the top, so 80s, so obvious. But they've gotten over. They were allegedly supposed to be the team to knock off the Young Bucks. last year. But again, the syndicate just got the belts, and if you take them off of them, what do you do from there with the Hurt Syndicate? At least with the Hurt Syndicate keeping these belts, you could run this back at Dynasty with the Outrunners, make it a tight competitive match where MVP's got to get involved and they escape. You can run it back. But taking those belts off the Hurt Syndicate, where do you go from there? And also, who steps up to the Outrunners other than FTR? And I don't really need to see that right now. We let that cook a little longer. Plus, you still got the Guns. The Guns need another crack. So let's let the Syndicate run a little bit, hold these tag titles while we figure out some other things.
Okay.
About to go past fishing.
Oh my God.
You know what? I'll stick with a retain too. Just because if the Hurt Syndicate did lose, I don't know what's next. I feel like Bobby as well as Sheldon could be doing other things, but I think they're a relative strength in this division at the time being. Then we have our AEW World Championship, Jon Moxley versus, I'm not calling him just that, versus Adam Copeland. Now,
if Mama named him Edge, I'm going to call him Edge.
This has been a very long-winded rivalry with the whole Death Riders angle that we're watching play out in front of us. Is Cope going to... I said it anyway. Is Adam Copeland going to be the one to put it into the Death Riders and capture his... Honestly, he would join Moxley as somebody who's been a former WWE champion, now AEW champion. What do you think, Courtney?
I'm going to be honest. I do not see Adam Copeland winning tonight. Also, what I saw on Dynamite, because even though Jay White said he's going to be in Adam Copeland's corner, I smell something fishy. I smell something that's going to happen and possibly turning on him, but that's just me. Also, there are a few factors looking into this because you still have Christian Cage with the contract for the AEW World title, and also you have somebody else that wants revenge against the Death Riders, and that's Darby Allin. There's a lot of factors going into play, but I do see Jon Moxley retaining the AEW World title.
Jacob, who you got?
All right, let me take these glasses off for this one real quick. Dylan, which camera am I supposed to look into? Right here? Cool. Make sure we get all this, get this one ready for the clip. Why in the bluest of blue hells have we come to the point where we have an angle with the Death Riders that are made up of former WWE guy, Jon Moxley, former WWE guy, Claudio Castagnoli, former WWE guy, Neville, now known as Pac, former WWE person, Marina Shafir, and then we have the bitch boy, Willa Yuta. So you have 4 former WWE and a 5th taking over a company. And what do you do to get your company back? You send in, oh, wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. You send in a former WWE guy that is 50 damn years old and just broke his leg jumping off of a cage. And the angle has not hit in that belt has been in the briefcase. And I'm convinced Moxley just lost that bitch and was like, oh, damn. Screw it. Briefcase it is. We'll figure this out later. And like you send in the WWE lifer that everybody knows as Edge. And again, I understand he owns the trademark to Rated R Superstar, but calling himself the Rated R Superstar really does not put distance between Edge and the guy that you want me to call Cope. And I'm not calling this man Cope. Mama named him Edge. I'm gonna call him Edge. At best, you might get Adam Copeland out of me. Make it make sense where this is your biggest title and you're taking over the company and you get it saved by a guy who's been here for a cup of coffee, barely 2 years. And the guy that should be doing this is currently climbing Mount Everest and trying not to kill himself, which is a regular day for Darby Allin. And then you also have Jay White as the wild card in his corner, New Japan guy. Oh, wait. There's more. Hold on, Dylan. I'm not done. Get all this. We're going to run all this up on socials. I'm pissed off everybody with this one. You got a man in a mock turtleneck, sleeveless, running around with a contract that is also, oh, wait, hold on. A 20-plus year WWE guy and also a former TNA guy who, like, we forget that he has this. So even if Mox retains, your next world champion is likely a former WWE guy to put an end to this. And again, nobody that's homegrown comes and saves the company. Make it make sense when you want me to use wrestling logic in this world. And all you AEW supporters looking at a couple of you podcast guys right now, clip this, run this one back. I want all the smoke for this. It's a Friday. I'm feeling good today.
Mm-hmm.
All y'all want to criticize WWE's booking of things not make sense. Please. I'm looking at you right now. I'm coming off the top rope and I'm talking to you as a nation. Please address me. Make it make sense. Because I don't know what we're doing here. So I say all that to say nobody wins because we're still going to be stuck here with Moxley as champion at the end of the day. Darby, get your ass off that mountain and come get this belt and get this over with. Please and thank you.
John Moxley's been the most solid hand in this entire company. It's hard for me. And it feels like there's a little bit of I don't want to call it a power struggle, but whenever things go wrong, there's John Moxley. You need something to heat up, here's John Moxley. He is Mr. Reliable.
It's a security blanket.
Yeah, safety net for this world title picture. So I don't mind him being champion. I don't mind him having the most title reigns at all. I think, would it be a nice shift to actually allow Adam Copeland to be champion? It would be a nice accolade for him. And if you want to do the Adam Copeland versus Christian thing again on a bigger scale, maybe there's more storytelling that can be done there. I wouldn't be against that. It doesn't go against Jacob's ideology that, hey, you're having former WWE guys on different platforms in your world title picture. So it doesn't get you out of that ex-WWE purgatory and highlighting your homegrown stars. But hopefully the homegrown stars are learning what that level of competition, that level of, you want to call it professionalism in that space looks like.
Learning how to be a guy, which is fine, but that's also an indictment on you as a company.
Well, time will tell. Just to be a contrarian, I'm going to pick Adam Copeland, by the way, just to be a contrarian.
I want it to be Cope just so we can end this horrible Death Rider storyline, and I was all in on it. But at this point, where's the payoff? What's the stake? It's just you guys are running around doing whatever you want, walking through the crowd, cutting great promos backstage, and like doing random weird stuff because you can. But like,
we got one more match to cover. I'm pretty
sure. Actually, there's one more match I forgot to put in: MJF versus Hangman Adam Page.
Oh, well, yeah, let's talk about that one then. MJF and Hangman. I've seen a little bit of a rivalry. I think I just saw MJF try to burn this man alive recently as well. Don't know why we're doing that, but I know Hangman can go to very dark places as well, as we've seen. I'll take Hangman Page in that match.
Courtney?
Yeah, I was thinking about this as well because, well, we've seen Hangman go to darker places. MJF's been hot. He's got some wins, but I don't see him walking out. I'm picking Hangman Adam Page to get the win.
I mean, I would say I feel bad for Hangman almost getting set on fire, but like you burnt the man's house down and just sat there and trained Jack like it was chill. Like if TBS and TNT turning that into a Yule log on Christmas is still one of the greatest things ever on their YouTube channel. That being said, if we keeping it a buck, to go back to my point from earlier, this should be more of a de facto number one contenders match than Swerve and Ricochet. But that being said, I think MJF steals this one courtesy of the Dynamite ring, and we get round 2 back at Dynasty in a Texas death match because Hangman has to have at least 2 a year.
That makes sense. And piggybacking off where we talked about the red carpet for Queen of the Ring last night, the match that probably should main event, we'll see if it does or does not, is your AEW Women's World Championship, dubbed as the Hollywood Ending. Mariah May, the challenger, taking on Timeless Toni Storm, who I believe is now 4-time?
Yep, she's a 4-time
AEW World Women's Champion. I don't believe in titles changing hands that fast. I mean, this is one of those things where I really can't call it. But Courtney, how do you think this match plays out?
Well, this is a story that's been played out for pretty much almost a year, considering Revolution was the first time these two appeared side by side together last year. There is a lot, and I will say this is one of the few storylines for. What did I say? Did I say something? Did I?
No, Dylan.
Oh.
I'm Dylan. I'm looking at the comments. You're good. Continue on. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I will say this because I was on the media call last night for Revolution, and I asked Tony, AEW's been there for 6 years. You have not had a women's match main event at AEW pay-per-view. Is it possible that is going to happen? And yet, there are some people that are chattering saying it shouldn't. But I'm going to say it right here. I've heard people say many times AEW has the best women's roster on paper. AEW's women's roster is taking over the world. If you stick to that claim, prove it this weekend. Prove it that it can be in the main event spot. No shade against Moxley or Copeland for the AEW title, but this should be a main event. If you really trust your women's division, and if you really want them to take it to the next level, put them in the main event match. And I'm not saying that because Tony Storm's my client, but they had a rivalry that's actually one of the best rivalries AEW has had, next to Hangman versus Swerve and a few others. So this should be. And I'm picking my client, Tony Storm, retaining.
Jacob.
All right. So when you lay out a match card, I feel like you got to look at two things. What's my world title? What do I rate? Which one of my world titles is my most important? And what story is most important? This match has both. I feel like this belt means more than the men's title currently, and that this is arguably the best story this company has told outside of Swerve and Hangman in the past couple of years. So why not put a bow on the trilogy? Let this main event. It's a major show. Because here's the thing that you also just picked up. By running that angle, you've got now some mainstream eyes. So let's capitalize on this. Let's put our women in the main event. Let's close out the show. It's no DQ. Everything goes. Falls count anywhere. All that good stuff. Insert Tony Storm promo here. And I got the timeless one walking out barely with the title still.
This trilogy is happening so soon. And we're in Los Angeles. It's being dubbed the Hollywood ending. I think it should main event, but I don't think we get an ending. I don't think we get a smooth finish. I think it's great that they added more layers to the story at the red carpet last night with Mariah attacking Tony, but I don't think they can just. I'm thinking about where you go from here outside of this, and there's a lot. You can throw a bunch of things on it, but I haven't seen any type of tea leaves that think it's going to lead there at all. So I think Tony Storm retains, but I don't think it's because she pins Mariah May or submits her. I think there's something else that gives where we don't get a clean finish whatsoever in this match. But I think this continues. But I think it should main event because it is probably one of the stronger stories in the company. If you look at the history of AEW, you might be able to slide this into a top 5 storyline for AEW's short history. But like I said, I don't think we get an ending, but Tony will retain the title. And if you really want to give us like shock value, we can do something at the end where it seems like Mariah is obsessed with Tony and the title at this point. Maybe you get a very gory ending to the show, but it allows Tony to retain the title, and then you can set up another clean match for later down the road. But it keeps your storyline going, which I think to me, I think this women's division needs this storyline more than anything than an ending.
So when you were talking, it just hit me. I just got an idea. And like you said, they got a bunch of attention. You added some more layers with the movie premiere. So you mentioned Camille was in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Where the hell has Camille been? Like, she quit on Mercedes and we ain't seen her since. Anything goes.
I think she was asked about that from press, not last night, but another time, and she didn't want to comment on her status. So I don't think this is like a thing that we can just throw out there. It might be something going on contractually that's not known yet. So she might not be under the banner. I don't know.
So let's just assume that I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and that the header at the top of that piece of paper says All Elite Wrestling still. Falls count anywhere, anything goes. Mariah said she's going to end Tony and put an end to all of this. Mariah May is not the biggest of women, right? Not the most physically intimidating of women, right? Falls count anywhere, anything goes. You kind of need a little heavy, a little muscle, a brick house, one might say. You got it. Her name, Camille's starting to get back in the public eye with the movie. Let's tie all this in. Give Mariah May the muscle. She could get the title back. We can run with it if we go that way. And I think Camille and Mariah would be a better pairing than Camille and Sasha.
Time will tell.
Just saying.
Time will
if I'm
tell.
right.
Yeah,
if I'm right, I'm showing up Monday talking all cash money.
Oh boy.
We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, AW Revolution is this Sunday in Los Angeles. If you're in the area, check out the show. If you got Prime Video, pay that $50 and hopefully you'll get some surprises. But we got to get up out of here because we got about we're under 25 minutes till SmackDown starts. And we know we got to watch Cody Rhodes cry amongst other things. So I'm going to let the good people of the chat, while we are divvying up our Queen of the Ring content to post all weekend, let us know where we can be found. Jacob, I'll start with you.
Of course, you can find me on Twitter at _J Della. You can also find my writings and musings over at anscape.com. Speaking of which, just dropped the monthly for March. That is the monthly Must Cop sneakers for the month. Make sure y'all go check that out. Share, tell a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell one, tell two, tell a few, tell a phone. We all know the deal. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Courtney, I know they can find you in the next 20 minutes, but where can they find you on the socials to support?
Well, I mean, they can find me at the top of the hour because I'm taking over for SmackDown and filling for Honey. You can always find me there. Sunday, I'm doing a watch-along for AEW Revolution this weekend, so they can always do that. They can always find me on socials everywhere on @Courtney11 on Twitter and Instagram. I did post some content of Queen of the Ring red carpet, but there will be more content happening in the couple days, and do have a lot of stuff that's happening in the coming weeks. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun weekend for Revolution. Not so much for Mariah May.
I think I actually will be found today. You can find me on the Twitter streets at @says. You can find me on cedistheanswer at the gram. There'll be content in droves. Like I'm actually going to promote myself this time. Let me cure my microphone. There is going to be so much content, so many interviews. I might actually, I might make up good on my promise to Jacob years ago and do a TikTok, but it's going to be a special TikTok based off something MVP told me about women's history and women's wrestling, and a special wrestler that he wants to talk about and highlight. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that you'll find here on the website. I'll have some funny stories about TK, but I want her to be present when I tell these stories. So maybe you'll get those on Monday. But of course, make sure you can keep it locked here, www talkpod.com. Our socials have a lot of content that we're uploading, a lot of photos from the red carpet this week. And like I said, a lot of interviews. There is an article up that I recently wrote about the backlash of Elimination Chamber, where I talk about everything from winners and losers. Of course, the heel turn heard around the world. Taste my words, swallow my thoughts. That's a Lil Wayne quote. If you're too young for that, don't ask me no questions. Again, we'll be back this weekend for AEW Revolution watch along with Courtney, and next 20 minutes with SmackDown watch along as well. And again, we're going to have a lot more content coming to you in the next coming days. Make sure you keep it locked here on Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WWTalkpod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.